Okay, this is going to be a weekly recap from the 12th of September to the 16th of September. And I had a total of 7 trades. 5 of them were green trades, so this one didn't work out. This one didn't work out. And that meant it was a 71% winning percentage rate, which is great. Ideally, I can see the same kind of results from 50 trades, not just, 7 trades. And my um, percent traded according to my dollar risk level was also the same. So I did stick to my $35 to $45 risk level. Right now my average is or at least my goal is to have a roughly $40 risk level on every setup so that worst case scenario happens, I'm not able to cut the trade where I wanted to and it starts to have a panic. That is the worst case scenario. My average dollar gain was about twice as much as my average dollar loss, which was good. My average percent gain was kind of crappy. At least it was about twice as much as my average percent loss. Slightly more size on the setups that I traded. Again, not the best data to look at because I had only 7 trades. But again, if this is something that I can see consistently over 50 trades, for example, that will be pretty good. And my average time in a trade was about the same. I made 23 bucks, and that was with $2,100 of trading volume. So that was about 1%. Again, it seems like the thing I had to work on the most was my average percent gain. That seems a bit small. I could have at least have gotten to over 2%, but I guess we'll go over the trades one by one and see exactly what I traded. I am at the point of the week where I don't really remember the setups, but I'm sure once we start to go over it, I'll start to remember it. And let's just start with ILUS. I think, oh yeah, that's true. This whole week was just trading ILUS. A lot of ugly, nasty, crappy stocks that have like super ugly wide spreads and everything. Were there, and then I started to focus more on ILUS because it was starting the uptrend and it was a lot better, the price action than the other OTC. So this is essentially the move right here with ILUS. And yeah, let's look at the first trade, which is on the 12th, and this is a bull flag. Let's look at ILUS on the 12th. So the 12th is going to be the first green day right here. Let's go to the 12th, which is going to be at this point, the first day. And we'll zoom in a bit more since it was a setup way in the morning. I was in at 943 at 85. So 943, 85. I guess I'll zoom in more. 943 was right here at 85. So I got in it at this point right here. Why did I get in it? Super nice, uptrend. First green day makes a pretty cool move from the 74 level as high as 86. It had a panic. It even got around the VWAP level, and I didn't like my entry too much because I felt like, I could have gotten in at a better price, but it was a little bit of a wide spread here. I did get in right at 85 when it looked like it just had a potential bull flag, get uptrends and then downtrends, and now it looks like it's going to continue the uptrend, and I'm in at this 85 point. Ideally, it can try to break 87, and then it can continue to run and make another leg up. I did get out 944 at 845, so I didn't hold on to it too long. 944, 845. I got out. I just didn't like the price action. Something seemed off with it. And it did continue the downtrend. It didn't really do like a bull flag right here. But I guess you could still call it one because if, for example, you draw a trend line. Let me remove any old trend lines I had. You can kind of say that, it did the bull flag. It just took a bit longer for it to really uptrend. But it did uptrend over a longer period of time. It just wasn't quick, which was what I was going for. And yeah, this one didn't work out. That's the one out of 2 trades that didn't work out. Let's look at the next trade, which is now a symmetrical triangle, big bull flag. So same day, ILUS, I was in at 1008 at 862. 1008 was right here. 1008 and 862. So yeah, just to go over it, symmetrical triangle. Essentially, I thought that it was probably doing something like this. I'm just gonna have to guess and see where I would have noticed maybe a symmetrical triangle. probably something off of here. And then I don't know if I should count that as an out, but I think this will be an idea. Yeah, essentially something like this. It wasn't just a bull flag like the big one. You know, again, my first trade being this potential tiny one that didn't work out. Not just a bull flag, but in theory, the lows were getting higher, and then the highs were getting lower, and then we had that breaking point, and there were a few minutes of hesitation, but then it eventually had like the volume come in, as you can see right here, and then I got in at 862 for the move towards the upside. Yeah, another big green candle that kind of messed with it. Later on in the week, I started to miss on some of the very clean, in theory, setups with IOUS, but the problem was is that it just had too much of a big ugly green candle, and then it has like a super wide spread. So that was the idea with this one too. You know, I saw the pattern, but then it shot up from 83 as high as this 85 level, and I'm in at, you know, 85 exactly right here, and you know, just downtrend. So yeah, maybe not the best entry, but kind of hard to get in some of these setups. I did get out at 1014 at 878, so 1014 was right here. I got out of my last piece, but my average was 878. So in theory, I got out right here, and then I was in at 862. It didn't really uptrend that much more, but I do like how it downtrended here, and it made a higher low off of this level, and then it made another leg up into the 91s. Let's just see what it would have been like if maybe I did some sells up here, held the downtrend, and then maybe sold up here, and then I get something in the middle like 892. Let's just see what that would have been. Yeah, that would have been a nice percent gain above 2%, and definitely something that I can try to work on holding past higher lows. But I think it wasn't bad for what it was, especially because I think the last week was kind of painful. It was just a lot of, you know, not really good setups. Let's look at the next IOUS trade the next day, the 13th, and this is the dip and rip. Let's look at IOUS for the next day. I swear there was a way to just delete all the drawings easily, but I guess it's not the case. At least I don't really know how. Next day is right here, and that's going to be this point right here. I was in at 932 at 1031. I'll zoom in some more. 932 was right here at 1031, so I got in at this point. I got in it right here. What did I get in it? This was a dip and rip setup, so the idea was is that I had a first green day, very strong, very nice, and then the second day it starts to sell off, starts to panic, but then it eventually finds a support level, it holds it, it reverses, ideally it breaks above VWAP, and then it continues to uptrend and do higher lows or something like that. And I got in it again at 1031, seeing that it just made the bottom right here in the 10s, and the 10 is a nice round support level, and I think there were a lot of bidders here. I got in at 1031. Maybe I could have gotten a better entry point, but yeah, back with the spread, you know, high spread, big green candle thing. I got out at 1043 at 935. 935 is when I got out of my last piece, and 1043 was my average. So I got out roughly right here. And again, I was in at 1031. So not the best because it did, I mean, get above VWAP. But then it started the downtrend. It did make a higher low off of here, but for the first initial move, it wasn't really that nice. But I think that was a good attempt. And now I got in for the higher low setup with IOUS. I was in at 931, 1049. So did I say 931? 939 at 1049. Yeah, I thought that was off. 939 is right here. 1049. I got in it right here. Why? Well, dip and rip setup didn't work that much, but we had a higher low off of this level, so I thought it just made it that much more likely that it's not going to break below 10. And since it is making a higher low, it can ideally try to uptrend over a longer period of time. That's why I got in essentially, and I did get out at 943 at 1068. So 943 was when I got out of my last piece at 1068, and I got out. I think I did a little better because the first one didn't really do that much, and then it sold off. And at this point, I was getting out, still somewhat near the highs. It did do another higher low, but it didn't break past the 10.8 level, and I didn't trade this because I felt like it was just running out of momentum. And, it's always, in theory, the best bounce, the first one, and then it makes another one, and then it makes another one. It just seems like it will get weaker, and that's why we did get a lower low off of here. But this made a nice move from 10.2 all the way to 11, which is like a 10% move. The next trade is going to be on the 13th as well, and this was a symmetrical triangle VWAP breakouts. Was in at 1016 at 1057. So 1016 was right here, 1016, and I was in at 1057. I got in it right here. What was the idea? Very similar to before, a symmetrical triangle. So maybe something like this. And if you go to the video that I published on a day, for example, that I traded this, you can see, exactly how I had the trend lines. I just kind of make them on the go, but I'm just assuming what it was when I was actually trading it. It's not like, I'm just I'm just making things up. I just want to make that clear. I did get out at 1020, and my average was 1076. So 1020 was right here at 1076. I got out right here, and again, to go over my entry, that was at 1016. So 1016 right here. So it did break the upper part of the symmetrical triangle, which is a bullish move, and it was kind of taking its time before it actually made the uptrend. And this time I got in before the stupid widespread green candle, and yeah, it did continue the uptrend, and I got out at 1020. Why? Resistance, resistance, and this one actually broke and it got much higher. I was just kind of messed up. I mean, I think I could have held this one better because the thing I've been trying to do better is holding past a higher low. And this would have been an example where I'm in it right here and it starts to uptrend. And then because I'm waiting for it to ideally downtrend and make a higher low at some point, I would have been a part of this uptrend right here that I would have sold into. And then maybe the higher low right here. And then when it shows topping price action, maybe I'll get out right here, which is still around where my sell was, that I actually did. So that's something that I could have done to get better. Let's just see what a sell at 1095 would have been. Just slightly higher. Just trying to play devil's advocate. Would have been a nicer percent gain and a bigger dollar gain, actually almost twice. So definitely there was opportunity for me to be a lot more profitable trading ILUS, even if it can have like a really ugly green candle that kind of takes away a lot of the move. And yeah, it might not seem like it, but I'm sure what happened here was that eventually the bid just transitioned to what the ask was, and then the ask was like super far off, or at least not in this case that far off, 55 to 10.7, and then it breaks the ask, and then it makes another leg up right here, and then that's when it got a little bit crazier. That's just kind of like the way ILUS trades. And let's go over the last setup on the 15th, another symmetrical triangle, but this one did not work out. Let's look at the 15th. So that's going to be 2 days later on the 15th. I feel like I got the wrong day, but we'll find out. No, actually, yeah, I didn't trade the last day because there wasn't like a super good entry to get in. ILUS started the trade with a wider spread, but just to go over it, it didn't have like a panic right here, and I would have liked to have been in it. And I tried to be in it. I did place an order at 1075. It did get to the 11s, but it just had a stupid widespread, so I missed out. But that's totally fine. It's a lot better than some of the other OTCs that have been out there. And with the last one, 1051, I was in at 1135. 1051 was much later right here at 1135. So I got in at the bottom of this candle, and I thought it was a symmetrical triangle, and it was a symmetrical triangle, but it didn't do it the way I wanted it to. This seems a bit hard to guess. I guess we'll go with that. Yeah, the idea with this one, although you can probably call it a descending triangle, which is a bearish setup, it still had that slight elevation of higher lows right here, and then the highs were getting much lower. And I got in it because at 10:51 I thought it was breaking above it, which it was at 10, not 10, but 11:35. But you can see it did eventually come back and broke under it, which was the bearish move. It made way down here into the 10/8s. I got out at 10:58 at 11:20. 10:58 was right here, and I got out at 11:20. So I got out right here. I did try to get out at 11:03 because I saw the price action was looking super bad, and I just wasn't able to. But I at least sold at 11:02, and it did downtrend, and it turned around and everything. And I think it did like a lame uptrend later in the day. As you can see, we got the 12.69, but yeah, this was a potential, setup. Obviously, it didn't work out. For me, it ended up breaking the bottom part, which is a bearish pattern. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. I could have done better. I could have done, a lot more things differently, like holding past a higher low, which would have allowed me to have been more profitable. And there were a few setups with ILUSI I just didn't take, like the end of the day. Not the end of the day, but at the very end of the week, where it just started the trade with a much wider spread. But that might just also be because it just has less volume. Again, that's pretty much it for today. A few lessons. Learned definitely some things I can do better. That's all I have for here.